need some music or something. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. Welcome. You're listening to Heartfelt Testimony. I am Saida Johnson. It's 7 o'clock. It's after 7. It's time to rock Heartfelt Testimony. We're so glad to be in the place, in the building tonight. Come on, the baddest co-host. You see him. This side of the Mississippi is sitting right there. Come on, hand claps for the coolest administrator
Give me all of
co-host Kevin Grimes. What's going on, KG?
Hey,
How
what's
you?
going on?
Man, nothing. Everything is good.
Everything's good?
Yeah.
Good.
No complaints at all. None.
I got one thing to say.
Come on.
I'm out. I'm out.
You out?
Hey,
what you
I left them kids behind. Summertime is here. Thank you, Jesus.
Woo!
I can live and breathe again for next couple of months.
Yeah.
I can get my cook on. I can sleep a little later.
Hey,
I don't always sleep late. I always get up same time. That's that old man. But I get up same time and not go to work. How about that?
How about that?
I can do my own work.
I was told second, but didn't have dates.
It's my time.
Okay, Keesha, come on.
So
come on.
Yes, ma'am. We got some folks coming on tonight. I see who's this young lady? Kelsi Jackson. She looks familiar. She looks familiar. We got one on tonight.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
This is your baby.
Yes, that's right.
That's right.
Good evening. Thank you guys for the invitation, for allowing me to speak on mental health today. Just to briefly introduce myself, I'm Kelsi Jackson, a licensed professional counselor licensed in Texas. My areas of specialty, things I specialize in, are anxiety, depression, and grief.
That's what I'm talking about right there. We need you, especially in these times with the government we got. Amen. But that's okay.
She said license.
She said license. She did. That's what's up.
I know.
That's what's up. Listen, there's a go ahead.
Some folk these days they claim to be doctors, but they not.
That's what you was trying to say.
I'll leave that alone. Some folk they claim to have license and doctorates. And
we got a license, okay?
Yeah,
we gonna get that alone.
This one right here is certified, bona fide. Yeah,
That's what's up. Listen, there's a big conference, women's conference going on at Graceway Church coming up June 27th. Ladies, come on now. You want to be a part of this conference. June 27th, 8 a.m. in the morning. I believe that's 8 a.m. in the morning. Graceway Church, 2695 East Arkansas Lane is going down. And Kelsi, okay, is one of the speakers, one of the presenters, and she's going to be talking about mental health. And we're excited to have her here tonight. Kelsi, welcome. Welcome to Heartfelt. Now, with this conference, I know you're ready for it, and you've been working hard toward it. You're talking about mental health, the resistance, rising against the resistance. When we talk about resistance for mental health, what does that come to mind for you when you talk about resistance and mental health?
Yeah. As we were kind of discussing a little bit earlier, I think there's a lot of obstacles that we face, especially in today's time. One thing that I think about typically tends to be the way our lifestyles are set up at times and the things we're constantly going through. I think one of the big things could be internal battle that we face. Things that we deal with, such as anxiety and depression, or as I mentioned, grief, loss. And grief doesn't always look like the passing of a loved one. Sometimes it's loss of a job, loss of a relationship, loss of a friendship. And we have many people who talk about, I feel alone. I don't have enough support. I don't know anybody that I can go to. But that in itself is an internal struggle of I feel
Mhm.
like I have to do it all by myself because I don't feel like I can trust, which is again something that we have to work through. It's a thinking pattern that we have to work through. So I think that's some of the resistance that we typically face. And also feeling like if I ask for help, here's the side of weakness that I have. I'm weak. I can't fix it. I can't handle it. Or
Mhm.
things on my own. Comments like, I don't do people. That's one of my favorite. You don't do people. You don't do people, but you not setting boundaries. You letting people talk to you.
Come
I don't
on
like
now.
I don't like people. I
Yeah,
don't like them.
I don't do people. I said, oh, you know, let's
Yeah.
let's unpack that a little bit more. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Okay. Exactly. Exactly. Kevin, you do restorative practices, and so I know you got some comments on I don't like people like that. What are you thinking about mental health and the resistance that people have?
Well, I think culturally, historically, we face a lot of things as people, and I'm going to be general. I'm going to be specific because everybody's situation is different, right? I think depending upon certain cultural groups, certain age groups,
Right.
certain religious groups, certain social dynamics, people express their mental health differently.
Mm,
Mhm.
And that's one thing I've had to understand, not only as a restorative practitioner, but also as a person who has worked with people for over close to 40 years now. So I've seen a lot of stuff and a lot of folks, but everybody, despite the differences with folks, it
mhm,
seems like most folks had the same things in common. They want, they they want the same results.
mhm,
They
mhm,
want the same
Absolutely.
result. And I think that's where we have to draw the line. Is like, okay, well, what is it that you really need?
Right. Come on.
But the experiences of what people go through is different from person to person. But people still want the basic stuff. Still want the basic. They still have basic needs. And once you peel
Mhm.
back a lot of those layers, you'll find out, everybody is pretty much needing the same types of healing and the same types of results. Um, so because we talk about social emotional learning, right?
mhm,
Mhm.
And Kelsi's familiar with that, and we talk a lot about brain development, brain health.
Mhm.
A lot of has to do with it. Of course, cultural differences and influences. But at the end of the day, we want the same things. But I think in terms of African American experiences, because of how we have developed in this country, and we still develop in this country, we still how we respond to certain things, biases and whatever, we process things differently,
Mhm.
and our expectations about certain things are different. Although we want the same results as somebody else, but how we get to that is just different. It's just
Mhm.
different.
Yeah, it is. So, that's very good. Listen, we're gonna add. We have one more that has come in. This is Renee. She is our new best girlfriend. My first time meeting her. Hey, friend, how
Hi,
you?
friends.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm Saida Johnson. That's Kevin Grimes. We are so excited to have you on tonight. This is Renee Bennett. She's also a part of that women's conference that's going to be happening 2695 East Arkansas Lane in Grand Prairie. Ladies, y'all got to get. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's going to be off the chain. You don't miss this. Put it on your calendar. 8 o'clock, June 27th, coming up in a couple of weeks. But hey, Renee, what's going on?
All is well, flying in from work, but all is indeed well. Yeah, got caught in a
Good.
little bit of rain, but I made it. I made it. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We're excited. You're excited about the conference. What are you going to be talking about during the conference? What do you want to? What's what's your topic? Are you? What do you?
So, what I'm going to be doing, I'll have like a brief moment just to share a little bit of my testimony.
Okay.
And so I heard you all when I was backstage talking about, mental health awareness and everything. And so I wrote a book, Destined But Didn't Know It. And so I'll talk briefly how I ended up writing a book,
Okay.
and how we were introduced to mental health. I don't know, basically put on a mental health journey with my oldest son. And so that's what I'll be talking about. I'll be sharing our testimony and how he overcame and how we overcame as well.
Oh, that's amazing. So we are so looking forward. We're so looking forward to that. That's Kelsi. She'll be on the panel with you.
Hi, Kelsi.
She just happens to be the daughter of Kevin Grimes. Say hello to Kevin. He is the co-host.
Hello, Kevin. It's a pleasure meeting you.
It's a pleasure meeting you as well.
Yes, absolutely. Kevin, any questions for Renee? Anything else that you want to?
No, I'm just interested to hear. I know Renee can't tell everything because
I can't tell everything tonight. Then what you gonna have when we meet on the 20th?
Just act like ain't nobody. I ain't gonna be there, so you tell me anything.
You might tell me.
I ain't gonna be there.
In the back down.
So Sylvia, I can share a little bit.
No, yeah. I mean,
just a
I
little
don't want
bit.
you to spoil it for folks, but.
And I won't spoil it. I'll just share
briefly,
a tad bit how we even came.
Yes.
So the title of the book is Destined But Didn't Know It.
Okay.
Wow. And so it starts off as a memoir. It's me just sharing my life, my story of being I tell people I was raised under the church because we went to church Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and Sunday night.
Yes.
So I talk about that. Just my childhood. I was a teenage mom. I had my oldest son at 16. He's now 30. I'm 47. I am a mother of 3, a baby mama of 31 years, married to my baby daddy for 24 years. And but yeah, we were introduced to mental health challenges with an S in 2014. Had never seen it before in my home. Didn't know what it was, and if I share more, I'll go into the story. But Miss Gail, which is an old client and a forever friend of mine. I'm a hairstylist by trade, but I've known her. Oh my gosh. Probably well over 20 years. And I started this program called Moms on the Mend. And the Lord gave me that when we were in the thick of things with our son. And he gave me MOMS, MOMS. And I knew it was something. And again, I wrote this down in a journal many, many, many years ago and just kept it in the journal. And so I started this. Someone called me about a month ago because I do host a Bible study called Christ Over Coffee. And she was like, I appreciate your coffee Bible study, but when are you going to help moms that's going through things with their children dealing with mental illness? And so I believe that the Lord had already placed that in my heart years ago. Again, I wrote down MOMS, the acronym. And so it's Moms on the Mend support. And so what the group is we do we meet monthly. We just started like last month, literally Mental Health Awareness Month. We just started and it's a baby. It is in its inception stage, but I'm really trying to lock arms with moms who's on this journey of just life literally being interrupted with mental health challenges with their child. I believe, is it Kevin?
Yes.
I believe he mentioned something about just, as a culture, we just don't know because we didn't talk about mental health. We didn't talk about when something's wrong with our child. We didn't know what depression looked like growing up. So these are things that totally catches us as a culture off guard. And I just feel like I walked this thing with the Holy Ghost, with the Holy Spirit. He really walked me through this so that I can, one, see my son healed, but again, now that we can also just help other people walk this journey, but walk it different.
Good. And I don't know how long. And I don't want you to tell everything, Renee. But
Yeah. Yeah, but come on, what you got?
I know dealing with, because I've been dealing with kids and families for like 40, right?
Okay.
So I've dealt with mental health. I've been in the mental health field. I'm an educator. I currently work with juveniles.
Yeah.
So systematically, I've seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I'm sure you have as well, right?
Yes.
So just briefly, what has been some of your experiences with programmatic and systematic approaches to the stuff that we have to deal with?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, what's his diagnosis? My son, I knew when I saw him, and a brief story is he went off to college in California, wanted to play football, was benched, redshirted. He just took it really personal and started smoking synthetic marijuana. And so when we got to California, we knew something was wrong. When I saw him, I knew that there were drugs in his system. But once we got to the hospital, we took him to the hospital. They immediately was like, oh, he's in the early stages of bipolar schizophrenia. I'm like, no, he's not. That's not what's wrong with him. I said, there's something in his system. Like, that's not what's wrong with him. But they really tried to convince me that he's 19. This is when it starts, and da da da. And I never received that, although the chemicals, whatever was in this drug, it did start the onset of his mental health challenges. But as we go back, a few years down the line, I remember the nurse at the psychiatrist's office telling me that, when they have their first episode, we just label them schizophrenic, although they may not be.
Oh, wow.
That is
but I knew that he wasn't schizophrenic. Now, yes, there were behaviors. It was a horrible experience. Just to be honest, once your child hits 18, they're an adult. So as a parent, you feel helpless, hopeless, because you can't. Your hands are tied. You can't do anything because they're grown. So we had to get medical power of attorney, durable medical power of attorney. And imagine trying to get that from someone that's not well in their mind.
Yeah.
And so that was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But God, we were able to work through some things, but it's not an easy journey. I even tell the ladies that join our group chat, like this, I know it's not easy. Because number one, we'd never seen it. I didn't even have anybody to talk to. I didn't even know because we don't talk about it. We keep that under wraps. We don't want people to look at us crazy, And when I learned about this synthetic marijuana, again, we're talking about 2014. So then it was like an epidemic.
Yeah.
During that time, K2 was.
K2.
And
Delta 8.
Delta
8, K2.
So it may have a new name now, but then it was K2. So I don't know if they're doing different things now. But yeah, back then it was really bad. And I didn't have any language for it. And so I had to really trust God throughout this process. And he literally ordered my steps on getting Antonio the help that he needed.
Good. Kelsi, what's been your experiences in response to what Renee has dealt with on a professional level? Like, what do you see?
All the time. I see it all the time. And the challenge is like to go from someone saying, oh, there's schizophrenia here. This is the specifiers, the markers for this diagnosis. I think as someone who's worked in the hospital, that is never going to go to diagnosis. That is not how you evaluate patients at all. And you typically find that more psych versus talking to a licensed professional counselor, psychologist, or what have you. And that's because they're trying to diagnose the test and move on to the next patient.
Yeah.
How it works, right? But once you get to therapy, that's when the real diagnosing and getting to the bottom of things happens, the conversations and evaluations. And so I think what's hard is, you talk to mothers all the time, especially mothers that look like us, whose babies are dealing with different challenges, and not even just anxiety, depression. We're not even beginning to touch on intellectual disabilities or autism, it's like that, where they don't have enough support or they don't know who to. And I think the main thing that as a provider that is important is holding that person's hand through the entire process as they get committed to care, get to the right specialist. You didn't like this therapist, let's get you a referral to another therapist. You want to talk to OT, let's get you to OT. You want to talk to someone who specifically deals with cognitive behavioral therapy, let's get you to the right person. And I think that's kind of the challenge with the system at times, is that we're not getting to the right people, and there's not enough support for parents when they're trying to figure out what is going on with my child. I've never, dealt with depression or anxiety in this way. Maybe it was just for a period of time, but when you see your child struggling, I think it pulls at your heartstrings for sure, and you're just trying to figure out what do I do. And so I see it all the time. I still deal with it on my professional level, but I think the main thing is offering that support and resources and following through with it. Meaning, hey, how was the first meeting? Did you talk to them yet? Or you know what, leave me call the office myself and I'll get you a call back today. That's kind of the approach that I think is important when you're, going through things as a parent and trying to help your baby.
Yeah, well, that's great. Because I think from a social science standpoint, restorative practice is a social science. The importance of community is highly important. Yeah. Knowing that there are people in your circle who have folks who have been through the same thing, or having people in your circle who can refer you to people who have gone through the same thing or going through the same thing, because in our cultural development and existence in this country, the concept of community has been highly important, regardless I don't care if you broke a leg, I don't care if you can't pay your bills, I don't care it doesn't matter. Knowing somebody who knows somebody is important, because historically we ain't been able to trust a whole lot of folks. That's so and this thing keeps perpetuating itself even in 2026. So we go back 1926 or 1826, if the same things persist, then we bring those experiences generationally into the present, and we still have to deal with them. I think we've gotten better to a degree, but there's still a lot to go, a ways to go in order for us to really, really deal and grapple with a lot of these issues. Yeah. So I commend y'all. I really do.
Absolutely.
For doing what you do.
Doing what you do. Hey, let me kick my shout out to homegirl. That's Renee. She's on the line. Keith Massey is on the line again. What's up, Keith? Good to see you. Good to see you. Of course, Gail Moore Sinetter is on the line. She actually, this is her baby. This women's conference is her baby, and so she is on the line. What's going on, Gail? I see you. And of course, Elfrida is on the line. Your sister on the line again tonight. We love her. Just glad to see everybody tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is a nice, hot topic. It's just amazing. It's amazing. Kelsi, I wanted to just see, what are some of the resources that you have that you can share with us tonight? A couple of resources that you have for folk that are just kind of going through some of the mental things that we were just talking about.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different, resources when it comes to counseling services. Sometimes we have to look at what's actually going on, the behaviors that we're seeing. What would be the best course? Obviously, if someone is dealing with suicidal ideation, someone is in severe crisis, we're trying to get to mobile assessment who can come out to you. I would say going to a hospital, a trusted hospital that can assess as well. And that's more of our severe situations, right? Someone who's dealing with addiction or, again, suicidal ideation, anything that needs immediate attention. For someone who may be dealing with work stress or anxiety about, things that are going on in their job, I think reaching out to resources like you have your employee assistance programs where they typically will cover your therapy sessions. And some people don't even tap into those resources, not realizing you have therapy covered at no cost, and you can easily link with an in-person or online provider that can assess and treat and meet with you for however long the treatment is, called for. You also can use your health benefits and reach out to your health company to find someone in your plan. Sometimes through your healthcare plan, you may find a provider who's already linked in, and some of your copay can be waived because you're meeting with a provider within the plan. And so, a lot of the times, the challenge is not getting to the right resource based on what's actually going on. Is the person in crisis? Do they need immediate assistance? Are they looking for a more support in terms of anxiety, depression, grief, what have you? Or if we're looking for more addiction-based services, right? We would look at rehabilitation, things like that. So I have a lot of resources, obviously, but obviously in crisis is number one. That's the one that I go to is this person in crisis? Are they having active thoughts, self-harm behavior, to get them connected to things like 988, which is our suicide prevention hotline where you can reach out. You can text the number, you can call the number. You can also reach out to mobile services where they can come and assess you. So those are the bigger things that I look at first. Again, looking at EAP program, meeting with a private provider of your choice. I'm also one to advocate connecting with groups if there is a particular therapy or service that you're looking for. We have things like group therapy for grief, much like what you're doing is a support group, which is well needed in our community because we need to be able to have something outside of what you're feeling, what your clinical diagnosis is. It's what's going on. Do you need resources? Somebody who can identify with your experience. So that is also very helpful. We also have things like couples therapy, which people don't. That couples therapy is not just for married, but in the engaged, the dating, the trying to figure it out. It's preventative, right? Some people look at couples therapy as a last resort, but that is preventative. It's teaching us how to communicate with someone else who can also help you point out things that you're not noticing when you're having your discussion, because all you can see is what you feel. So I love all of that. I love individual therapy. Obviously, that's the one-on-one with the provider where we are working through clinical goals. We are kind of looking at what your clinical diagnosis is and going down from there in terms of what's the best supportive measure. Do you need group therapy outside of individual therapy? And then we also have things like wraparound services. Wraparound services can look like this, where if someone is inpatient, meaning that they've gone to a mental health hospital that solely works on mental health concerns, where they are doing their own inpatient programming. They're meeting with a therapist. Sometimes that may mean meeting with a psychiatrist to prescribe medication, meeting with a primary care physician who can also assess vitals, meaning do they have low vitamin D, low iron? What else is going on that could be causing some of these symptoms? Then you have group therapy, individual therapy, and that they typically prescribe therapy based on the need. So sometimes that person could be meeting once or twice a day, depending on inpatient. Then you have outpatient, which means you can go to stay home, but you're going to group therapy, you're going to individual therapy for those services. And that's for more like someone who's dealing with more severe depression symptoms, for example. They would be going to outpatient or inpatient Typically, they step down through the process to where you're outpatient and you may have your therapist that you meet with ongoing from there. So there's a lot of mental health resources. It really just depends on where someone falls, but I wanted to make sure that I shared exactly what could be going on and what would be the actual steps that you would take to get those services.
So Renee, what has been your? I appreciate that, Kelsi, because
Yeah, very good.
that
it's
is a
actually really
lot. That
good.
gives a lot of
Yeah,
insight that a
yeah.
lot of people. Some people think, well, I just don't feel good, and I'm gonna go somewhere. I'm just gonna go. And
You
they
don't have
take
to
and they
go
don't know where to go. And then when they get there, they take everybody's service. Okay, that sounds good. Now, what does that mean? You having somebody sit down and explain to you like what
Yeah.
that really, really means is important.
Right.
Because again, we really don't trust a bunch of folks, especially if we
We
ain't never
know.
been. We might have had like Uncle Johnny who gone through some stuff. It's like, but Uncle Johnny, he didn't give he still
Mhm.
self-med, he still self-medicated because he wouldn't get what he needs. So I think those things are important. When I did risk assessments, I had to make a determination whether a kid goes to the hospital
Mhm.
or is able to go to the clinic is the next day or whenever, right? So, and that was like 30 years ago when this stuff was really, really rearing its ugly head. You had crack epidemic
Ooh.
in the early mid 90s. I came to
Mhm.
Dallas about 95, and now I start seeing those same kids who are now parents and even grandparents.
Mhm.
Oh.
So it has taken a generational um transition, a transformation.
Mhm.
But I think we're doing better now. The only thing that concerns me is, man, I'm gonna let y'all speak on this. Sometimes y'all, it concerns me because I think we normalize some stuff, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
We
Mm.
normalize a lot of things, which really has an effect on how clear a diagnosis can be.
Mhm.
That and the overdiagnosis or underdiagnosis of folks
Mhm.
is
Mm.
problematic. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, does he have it or does he not have it? Like Renee, in your case, it's like, no, he ain't schizophrenic. I don't
Right.
know. I don't care what y'all say. Nah, that
Right.
ain't him. That's an overdiagnosis.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna put it out here. And somebody, might say something. I think a lot of folks get paid for overdiagnosis.
Yeah.
Woo.
Well, because I think that's based off of the prescription that they're going to write.
Exactly. Wow.
You know, the
Yeah.
money for those
So
prescriptions.
so so what was your experience? What was your experience once you got to your son? Because I know you were frantic, right? Like, okay,
I
what's going
was.
on? What's happening? Who's
Yeah.
involved? You want to try to find out, okay, who did this? Who
Okay.
did
Yeah.
what? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So kind of briefly walk us through what that felt like for you.
Oh man.
Mm.
I was terrified.
Yeah.
Um, because the phone call that we received before we even went to California it sounded like a suicide call.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And we were in Arlington, Texas at the time, and he's way in Sacramento. And he was like, he calls at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
So if it's 3 o'clock here, or was it 3 o'clock there? I don't remember. I can't even remember. It was
It was late.
either way. We was 2 hours,
Yeah,
2 hour
exactly.
time
Right,
difference.
right,
I know I
right.
was asleep. Whatever time
Exactly.
it was, I was asleep when he called. But it startled myself and my husband. And what he said was, he sounded very anxious. He's
Hmm.
not an anxious kid.
Hmm. Exactly.
He was
Right.
talking kind of fast, and he was like, "Mom, um, you know, where my daddy at?" And I'm like, "He right here. What is it? Why are you calling so late?" And he says, put my daddy on the phone." So I just put him on speaker. And he says, "I just want y'all to know if I was to die today, that
Mm,
y'all will be taken care of."
Oh
mm,
wow.
And I said, "Antonio, where are you?"
mm,
And he says, I'm at home." And I'm like, and his phone hung up.
Mhm.
And so I started trying to call him back, and he answered. And he said, if something was to happen to me, y'all will be taken care of. And I just started asking questions. And I don't know a lot of the story that I also share at the conference. I don't know outside of the Holy Spirit why I asked what I asked. And so the first thing I asked him was, did you go to school? Because this is the early Saturday morning. I said, did you go to school yesterday? He said, yes. I said, did you go to football practice? So he's not on the team, but he's on the practice team.
Okay.
He's not playing, but he's on the practice team. He said, yes. I said, where did you go after the after practice? He said, to a party. I said, did you do any drinking or smoking at this party? He says, no, why would I do that? And you know what? That's not like my son, because he wouldn't do that. And I asked him, I said, why won't you sleep? He said he couldn't sleep. And this just so happened, I got this call. We were having a really big celebration in my salon, a 4-year anniversary, fashion show. So it's a big event. So this is the morning of the event that I get this call. And of course, I'm extremely worried. I was like, are you okay? He says, yes, I'm fine. And so we get off the phone. I called him. He called me midday with something weird, like, what was I getting my husband for Christmas? It's November, by the way, 2014. And I was like, I don't know. You know, my husband had lost his wedding band at that time. I was like, I don't know, maybe another ring. Mind you, I'm busy, so I'm kind of moving fast. I was like, I got to call you back. And I was like, why are you trying to buy him something for Christmas? Because we told him, you know, it's his first year of college. Don't worry about working, you know, go to school, you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a job so I can help you get daddy, da, da, da. So again, something's off, but I can't really focus on it in the moment. So I called him that evening once we finished the event, and he didn't answer. And the next morning, I went to church. Sunday morning, I went to church. And I just remember weeping during the service. I didn't know why I was crying. I thought it was a sermon. I don't know. But it wasn't a normal cry. Like I literally began to weep. I mean, to the point my eyes were swollen. And the title of that sermon is so, although we went through this, it's such a spiritual connection as to what we were going through and why we were going through it. But the sermon topic was water the seed, which is what was being preached that day. And I just remember weeping. And this is not, you know, pastor talking about agriculture and, you know, all types of things, you know. But I just remember weeping. My husband calls me after the service. I'm at a baby shower. And he was like, I think we need to get Antonio a ticket and bring him home. Something's wrong. And I was like, what happened? He's out trying to buy a car. Well, he has no money. So I was like, let me call you back. I call him. No answer. So I called my husband back. I was like, look, I'm going to get me a ticket. If you want to go, I'm going to get you a ticket. I said, but we need to get to California. And during this, we couldn't get a flight out until Monday morning. But during this time, from 2:00 Sunday to it's 11:00 p.m., we have not heard from him. And at this point, now I'm very concerned. And so this thought came in my mind, call the non-emergency 911 in Sacramento. Don't know why, but it was out of the Lord. And so that's what I did. I called the non-emergency number and told them, like, my son is there. He's in college. I can't find him. And they said, well, it has to be so many, you know, hours before they can do a missing person report. But they went ahead and let me go ahead and talk to the person that's doing the report. Long story short, we find out he was in jail. He was in jail because of some, we didn't know at the time, but just some psychotic behavior. They said he was drunk. Because I think they did a drug test and you can't trace K2. So there's no drugs in the system. And so we get there, and when I saw him, I could tell by his eyes that something was wrong. And I asked him, I said, what drugs are you on? And he was like, this is just weed. And I said, no, that's not weed. That's not weed. And so that's when we ended up taking him to the hospital. And so it's literally like my husband and I, we switch roles immediately. I'm the quiet, you know, laid back, chill mama. My husband is, you know, hands-on, do the things, but he was quiet. And I became mama bear in that moment. And I just remember taking him, I was talking to his girlfriend who was still here, and she's the one that asked me if I ever heard of K2. And I said, no, what is that? So while I'm talking with her, I'm Googling and looking stuff up. And what I'm reading, I'm seeing, you know, just with the behaviors. He was hallucinating. She told me he hadn't slept for 4 days. So he was in very strong, like, psychosis even at that time. So, and I'm learning all this as we in it, because I've never seen any of this, but I'm learning these different terms and behaviors. And so as a parent, I literally, once we got him back to Dallas, um, I lost 25 pounds in a matter of days because I was so worried about him and I couldn't help him. It leaves you, especially again when you've never seen it before, because he was just a good kid. Kids going to be kids, but overall he was a good kid. He was a mannerable child. We just wouldn't have any major issues, so this was something that was brand new that we had never seen before. And it was once we got him back here in Dallas when we took him to another hospital. And I at the time, I have two other children. They were younger. I didn't want them to see him like that. So because he had just went to college, so I don't want him coming back home looking different, acting different. And I didn't want to scare them because I had no language for what we were experiencing. So we went and stayed at a hotel near our home. But he would not go to sleep. And he just began to pull the pillowcases off the pillows and sheets off the bed and and I'm just watching him, and my husband's asleep because we hadn't slept in probably 24 hours at this point. So he's asleep, but I couldn't sleep because I'm watching him. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he says, "They're listening to us." And I was like, "Who?" And he said, "The fake police." So we found out that he got into an altercation with some security at a mall, which is how he ended up in jail. So, but now in his mind, and this is also during the time, y'all, 2014-ish and beyond, and even before, little handsome Black boys are getting killed by cops, so I'm sure there was some trauma attached to that when he was calling, the security, the fake police. But God, he literally had his hand on my son from beginning to end. It caused me to write a book, like a whole one, like literally. But it took me 8.5 years to complete it because we went through many seasons with the challenges. From going in and out of jail, mental health facilities, I don't need no medicine, just it was a journey. It was a journey, but I could not have done it by myself. I personally did not I may have done like one session of counseling myself. But I took him to, for counseling, but again, he was an adult, so it was up to him to keep that going. I can only go so far. And I was really trying to hold, him. To the point I was taking him to work with me, like he was a baby and he was 19, but yeah, the Lord was like, yeah, you're going to have to let him go. I think the most important thing for parents, and when I say let him go, I'm not saying turn your back on him. And I think that happens way too much in our community, is that we turn our back on our children because they're having their season of go through. And that's what I did not do. If he went to jail, I was there visiting him. Thank God we never had issues with him. I think he ran out the house one day. We was right behind him, trying to, get him. And we got in our car and got him back in the car. But, I stayed by his side, and today my son he's healed and he's whole in his right mind, and so God he's so amazing.
Praise God.
Amen. That right there, that is amazing. That is amazing. The diagnoses of depression and anxiety has really risen between 2010 and 2013 at dramatic rates.
Yes.
When COVID hit about 18, 19, about 19. After
the end
COVID,
of 19 going into 2020.
And we started to see exorbitant amounts of anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
And males and females, of course, that coupled with we isolating ourselves and whatever else, and
Mhm.
people not socializing the
Mhm.
way that we normally would,
Mhm.
increased a lot of antisocial behaviors, a lot of dissociative disorders.
Mhm.
It just has grown in leaps and bounds, and um, we are really kind of going into a new season for me. I know I just seeing the kids I deal with going into a new season in terms of how do we really cope with and how do we really deal with a lot of what's happening, because uh, for some counties and some areas in this state and other states, services kind of getting cut,
Mhm.
Oh,
and if services of funding is getting cut,
yeah.
then we know who gets hit
First.
The
the
hardest.
quickest
Yeah.
and the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are things that concern me. That's why it's good to have conversations like these so we can address these same situations
Mhm.
on a broader scale, right?
Mhm.
So I thank God for you all, and you coming through the fire, and
Mhm.
and still kind of in the fire to some degree,
Yeah.
because you really don't know how things are going to be, but I mean, because of God
Yeah.
and what
Yeah.
He's allowed us to understanding about His power,
Right.
Absolutely.
that we circumvent a whole lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But and I don't want to, man, I don't want to sound Pollyanny-ish.
Woo. Okay. Is that a word? All right.
It
Come
is
on.
today. It is tonight.
You made that up,
I'm
y'all.
not gonna get on my violin and say that and we know that prayer can cover a multitude of stuff, right?
And it
Yeah.
does. Yes.
Uh, but understanding the power of the Holy Spirit, Him giving us the know-how, Him giving us the wherewithal to tap us on the shoulder and say, "No,
Mhm.
no,
Mhm.
Yeah.
don't give in to that."
Yeah.
Come on.
And I'm gonna introduce you to some. You don't know who it is. I'm gonna let your life intersect with somebody else,
Listen.
and you gonna find
Woo.
some help through some folks
Come
that
on.
that you
Mm.
never thought
Come on.
you never thought that you was gonna come across these. So dealing with the areas of anxiety and depression, I know for men and women it's different.
Mm.
It's different.
Mm.
Kelsi, what have you seen in terms of anxiety, and you could speak from what Renee just talked about, but especially in women, like what have you seen
Mm.
since this is a women's conference,
Oh
It,
yeah.
and it
Oh,
is.
and y'all
And
ain't
it
invite no
is. And
dudes. I'm gonna have to
it
have a conversation with sister
is.
Netta.
It
we'll,
is.
we'll come learn
Yeah,
yourself.
now Renee. I got some people in my family. They kind of embarrassed of me on for some reason. So sister Netta's my sister. I don't know if you knew that or not.
It
See,
is.
she'd tell you that, right? So
You.
I'm the cuter version. But anyway,
Oh Lord.
uh,
Well,
Oh,
first,
he got all his people online. Yes.
I just want to say,
I
Renee,
ain't
that,
get no invite. No
oh,
invite.
I just wanted to say, Renee, that I so appreciate you sharing, and your strength for all of that is the very thing that sometimes as therapists we find challenging.
Yeah.
Um, I can't do anything, so that's that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you were there step by step, that's the support, which is hard,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
It's like almost like being in a bad relationship. That
Mhm.
like we take two steps forward, take two steps back,
Yeah.
challenges, but it's the endurance, and that's definitely the Holy Spirit, the endurance.
Yeah.
You asked me a question about anxiety and how we see that in women. I think it looks different, and I'm going to speak to our experience as Black women. Anxiety looks very different in us than it does with other people. It can look like I got to be organized. I got to do this. I got to do that because if I'm on top of these things, that's less for me to worry about. Or somebody's not on time. Why can't we be on time? Somebody's, not answering my calls. That's kind of what anxiety can look like in terms of the agitation. It can look like distancing from people. It can look like weight loss, as you mentioned, in terms of can't do anything for myself right now.
Mhm.
has to get done. And I will put myself on the back burner because anxiety is fueling urgency.
Yeah.
Everything is urgent. Everything needs to get done. It looks like restlessness. I can't sleep. I can't rest. And that's the various changes that we go through in our lifespan in terms of when you decide to have children or life decides that you're going to have children. And then you go on to, hormonal challenges, perimenopause, menopause, all the things that can drive anxiety. Um, I think the beautiful thing about when you do decide to seek help is noticing the patterns and realizing I didn't even know that I did that. I didn't even know. I couldn't understand why I was so anxious when I walked in the room. And aesthetically, everything is everywhere. So my mind is cluttered. I'm frustrated. I'm overwhelmed. And I can't figure out why I can't settle down, why I can't um, rest, because everything else has to get done before I do that, before I go on to the next thing. And so typically when I see anxiety, I see a lot of I can't depend on people, so I have to do it by myself. I see a lot of survival mode. One band sound, there's nobody in my corner. And I think that's fueled by nobody can do it like me, or I don't feel like I'm getting the support that I need. So everything else becomes, I can't do this, and this is what I can't do. Control. And what happens when you lose control? Just like what you mentioned, there's a loss of control. I can't do anything to fix this but what I'm doing right now, which is stand side by side, trying to make sure every step of the way, here's the support, here's the resources. And I think that's a lot of it that we deal with is simply there's a loss of control. And around us, we're just trying to figure out how can I get control so that things get back in some sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
So what do we do? What do we do to gain support? Like Renee, what have you done to gain additional support? Because we know you ain't doing it by yourself. You gotta have some folks around you.
Yes.
While you was doing my sister hair, like did she say anything to kind of help you out? What does your support systems look like?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, such a great question. So being in ministry, because I am a licensed minister. At the time I wasn't, but this actually pushed me into ministry. But being in ministry, I had a lot of ministers, and Miss Gail being one of them. But I had several women like pastors and leaders as clients. And so they were very encouraging. But the most encouraging thing that honestly, I'll say this. There was a sermon back in the day, which is actually a book, but I came in, it's The People Factor. The People Factor is the title of the book. But it was talking about the people in your life. And I actually had women that worked in my salon, like we were each other's confidant, we were prayer partners, so I actually had people that I could go to when the load became very heavy. And I didn't try to keep it inside. One of my pastor clients had given me a journal when we were introduced to this season. I didn't open that journal until it was like the thick of it. And she had written in there, Renee, I want you to journal your prayers and date them, because one day you'll be able to come back and see what the Lord had done. And that's what's in my book. The prayers that I actually wrote are at the back of the book. I literally started writing letters to God. I was like, dear God. And so, yes, I had people, but the most important thing I had was prayer. Prayer was the anchor that helped me get through it, because the more I talked to God about what we were going through, the more he talked to me, the more he actually ordered my steps on the help that we needed to get our son. And so the greatest thing for me was prayer. I had the people. I'm grateful for the people, and I have some prayer warriors, in my circle. And this situation actually taught me how to pray, because I didn't. I prayed, but I really didn't pray. I honestly felt like I didn't know how to pray. I have prayer books, and there was this one particular prayer. There's a book, this prayer book called Prayers That Availeth Much by Jermaine C. Copeland. And there was one prayer in that book that was for you pray on behalf of someone that's dealing with mental health challenges. And my husband and I, for the first time in our 20 years, it's all in the book. Yeah, this book gonna bless y'all. I'm gonna have copies at the conference. Kevin, we're gonna have to get you a copy so it can bless you too.
Oh, man.
Yes, please. Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're going to get you a copy. But because it's like I say, this is such a multifold. It's not even like a trauma. It's so many little things connected to this journey that it was God. It's like, Job, when the Lord was talking to Satan and was like, have you considered my servant Job? Yeah, he was like, have you considered my servant Renee? And so, the Lord removed the hedge, and here we were going through a mental health challenge. And so the people, the journaling and prayer, because the journaling, I didn't journal. I never journal. Like that's not something I did, but it really helped me to release my thoughts because I didn't know what we were going through, but it helped me. It was very therapeutic. That was my therapy. Journaling was therapy. Prayer was therapy. Worshiping was therapy. And so I'm not saying that I'm above going to therapy. I just went through this different than others may go through it. I believe that there was a strength that the Lord had given me to go through it with him. And that's how we got on the other side.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I will say this as well. I think when it's time for you to go, you will go. I think if that is what he is wanting you to go through, I think that he'll let you know what that looks like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And, I'm so for it. Like I'm always pushing people to therapy. So I believe if there was a season, it wasn't that season. It may be another season that I may go through. Well, I will need to go talk to somebody.
Right.
But for that particular challenge and trial, it was me and him.
And I say that because I think sometimes people try to say the quintessential things to make us feel good.
Yeah.
And when a person is grieving and when a person is going through some things, I've had to understand that whatever their process is, I have to respect that.
Yeah.
And however they grieve, I have to respect that.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we have a tendency to push our agendas on folks because we want to hear them get them to the healing like it's our healing, but it ain't. It's like just theirs. It's like, this ain't your fight, partner. It's all good. Just stay in the corner and give me some water and bring me the towel every now and then.
Yeah.
But it's good to have that support. And saying that, and I don't want to exclude this brother because I know his testimony is probably an experience as well. And that's your husband.
Oh. Now that's somebody that ain't talked about it yet.
I would love to talk to him.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he got a whole
and I know it's an amazing testimony, but that's somebody that hasn't talked about it. And I wanted to share this too, because I know I've mentioned my son's name. I know I'm talking about my son. The reason why, the way I even have this book is because I got my son's permission. Because to share what we went through, because I know it is his testimony of what we went through. But I've sat down and I've talked to him because he knows that this is what changed his mom. This is what birthed me into ministry. This is what made me the Renee that I am today, is what we went through. And so he actually gave me permission to write the book. I don't share like detail for detail, but I do share details. But he gave me permission to share
it. And that is highly restorative
Yeah.
From the standpoint of
Yeah.
allowing somebody to have a voice
Yeah.
is highly important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we try to, again, take people's burdens and paint them the way we want to paint them,
Yeah.
as opposed to getting their permission and allowing them to have a voice in their direction and in their journey.
Yeah.
And so that is highly important. And I'm
Yes.
glad he gave you the rights to go ahead
Yeah.
and make that happen. Because
Yeah.
sometimes we have to be a voice for other folks.
That's right.
Sure.
And,
That's right.
and in terms of how guys process, sometimes we need that second and third party person
Yeah.
to be that for us.
Yeah. And nobody will be able to tell his testimony like he can. I mean, because he is a literal, and I do mean literal, walking, breathing.
Yes.
He's a testimony, the
Yes.
things that he had gone through and what God really just shielded him from. He's a whole testimony. And so to God be all the glory.
To God be the glory. Renee, that's amazing, amazing, amazing. How can we buy your book? Where do we buy it?
Absolutely. You can find it on Amazon.com. And again, it is titled Destined, but Didn't Know It.
Destined, but didn't know it.
But I had no idea. God had a plan for my life. I didn't know.
We don't never know.
We don't know.
Obviously, because I didn't know.
Until he tell us.
I'm like, who, me?
What?
You made a mistake.
Exactly. You have to trust God. You have to trust God in everything. Hey, that's our show for tonight, y'all. This has just been amazing. People online are just buzzing. Gail is just buzzing. Elfrida says Renee's transparency is going to heal someone and somebody.
Yes.
And I believe that. I do believe I agree with her with that. Yeah. And Kelsi, she said she loves you, baby. You have added some value to this podcast. Thank you. And she is so right. Thank you so much, Kelsi, for coming on. It's just been a blessing. How do we get in contact? Can we get in contact with you? How do we get in contact with you for the services that you might? Can we contact you at all?
Yes, you definitely can. I can. Do you want me to share it now, or?
Yeah, you can. Or put it in the chat, whichever one is
I'll
better.
put it in the chat because it may be a lot.
Okay, cool.
That may be a lot of information.
Yeah, some alphabets.
Yeah. I'll put it in.
I'm grateful for you. Again, June 27th, 8 a.m. in the morning at Graceway Church. This women's conference is about to go down. It's exciting. Put it on your calendar. The address 2695 East Arkansas Lane, Graceway, Grand Prairie, Texas. Come on through. This is what's going to be happening there. This has been amazing. Yeah. So good. There's some other things that are going to be happening now. Eureka Harris is going to be talking about a financial strategy. Keesha Davis is going to be there. If y'all anybody know Keesha, you know she's there. She's talking about monetizing on social media. That's a big thing. She's going to be talking about that. And then Shireen Miles is going to be talking about business development. Is going down on June 27th. So please, come on in. Listen, if you are a vendor of any sort, we want you to come on through as well. And the booth fees are $50. Just $50. That's it. And we want you to come through if you want to set up whatever booth or whatever wear that you have. You can do that as well. We get in touch with Gail Morrison-Netter, and you can look her up on Facebook, send her a message, and let her know that you want to be a vendor at on that day, June 27th. Dina Grimes is on the line. She said, hey, thank you for your testimony. It's mighty, Renee. Thank you. That's given.
She ain't saying about me. She ain't saying about me, did she? Oh, I tell you, life hard, boy.
There you go.
You cook for folk, you take care of them, they don't even miss you on the
They don't treat you right.
on the show. Oh my gosh.
Oh
It ain't
my
much.
goodness.
It ain't much. It's hey, boo, hey. Put some
Hey,
kisses
we're
on
gonna
there. I do
you're
want
gonna
to. I do want to say. I got my sisters on the line. I got all three of my sisters actually. I got Gail, of course,
yes.
and Frida and my sister Kim. Hey, boo.
Uh,
Hey. So yeah. So I got
yes,
my family. Oh, and my
absolutely.
wife. And my wife.
And your
Don't do that.
I'm sorry, my bad, my bad, my bad.
Don't
I'm
do
gonna
that.
get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble, my bad.
oh wow. It's just been good tonight. It's been good, good,
Oh,
good.
thank you, boo. All
So
right.
grateful. Look, your mom said thank you, baby. She said thank you. You're so good as well, Kelsi. Okay, that's the show.
That's a
Everybody
show.
good? Thank you again so much for coming to Heartfelt. Come on back whenever you get a chance to. We would just love.
Absolutely.
What y'all doing next week?
You
No,
know,
I'm just kidding.
come on back and
We can do a recap. We can do a
I just
recap.
gotta do a recap
I
and
don't
see what
mind.
And actually, June is Men's Mental Health Awareness.
Yeah.
So this will
oh,
be
Is it for real? I
yes, it
thought that
is.
was. You know what?
It's
You
you
are
know
May.
what?
correct.
So we can also talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about bring some
The
brothers on the
recap
show.
brings
How much space we got on the show? Can we bring like
we
20 other
get 10
people?
people on the we get
Oh, we
10
get
people.
10 folk on there. Look at that.
We
Look at
get 10
God. Look at
folk.
God. I might be able to, yeah, we might be able to swing that.
Absolutely. Let me give a shout out to my baby girl. B Johnson is on the line as well. Can't forget about that's Malachi's mama. You know, Malachi is my baby. Okay. We're gonna kick my shout out to her. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. That's our show for tonight. Thank you so much again for everybody that joined us. We will see you next time on Heartfelt Testimony. We'll see. Thank you guys.